Okay, today we're tackling a genuinely universal modern problem. How many times have you woken up feeling like you're literally just going through the motions? You know the feeling, you're burnt out, you're overwhelmed, and you're just completely stuck on autopilot. Well, if you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone. The constant noise of modern life has this really sneaky way of drowning out our inner compass. But today, we've got a structured way out of all that noise. We're going to break down the PathStep framework. It's a 7-day guide designed by Tom Pizzio to help you pause, gain some serious clarity, and actually take intentional action. So if you love a good structured step-by-step approach to personal growth, you're going to get a lot out of this explainer.
Now, look at this quote. Clarity doesn't happen by accident. It happens by intention. Read that to yourself one more time. We so often sit around waiting for this massive lightning bolt of inspiration to strike us, or we just hope the fog is going to magically lift on its own. But this framework, it argues the exact opposite. Clarity is something you have to actively carve out. It requires deliberate, deep intention.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Sometimes real transformation doesn't actually require a massive life overhaul. You don't have to quit your job and move to the woods. Sometimes it just requires stillness. See, before you can sprint towards your goals, you have to stop running long enough to figure out where you actually are right now. We really tend to overcomplicate things, but this framework suggests that, sometimes all you need is a quiet moment to find just your next right step, not the whole staircase, right? Just the very next step. So here's the map for our journey today. Escaping the autopilot trap, assessing your starting point, phase 1, finding clarity, phase 2, building momentum, and finally, integrating your path. Let's take it one step at a time. First up, escaping the autopilot trap. Awareness is the first step to change. True growth absolutely requires us to consciously step back from the rush. We have to pull away from the notifications, those endless to-do lists, and all that overwhelming noise of our daily routines. I mean, think about it. You literally cannot fix a machine while it's running at full speed. And you can't realign your life while you're just reacting to every single fire drill that pops up throughout your day. Why? Because awareness creates options. It's that simple. You simply cannot change what you do not see. If you're unconsciously repeating the same draining habits or letting your boundaries get crossed without even realizing it, you're basically trapped in a cycle with no visible exit sign. But the very second you become aware of those patterns, boom, you suddenly have a menu of choices right in front of you. You actually gain the option to do something differently. Which leads us to assessing your starting point. Because, as they say, you can't improve what you don't measure. Before we even look at day 1 of this 7-day process, we've got to establish our baseline. We're essentially taking a deeply emotional, personal journey and grounding it in real, measurable data points. The source material lays out these 6 specific metrics to audit your life: clarity, energy, confidence, alignment, momentum, and purpose. Now, as you look at these, I want you to mentally rate yourself from a 1 to a 10. How clear are you about what actually matters most right now? Do you have the physical and mental energy to show up for your goals, or are you just totally running on empty? Are your daily actions actually aligning with your stated values? You've got to be brutally honest with yourself here. A low score, that's not a failure at all. It's literally just coordinates on a map. This structured audit is exactly how we locate your true starting point. All right, phase 1, finding clarity, the awareness steps. With our baseline officially set, this is where we intentionally slow everything down. We're going to take those honest insights from your self-rating and start drafting your personal map. So here are the first 4 days of the framework. Day 1 is pause. You just stop. Stop long enough to actually hear your own thoughts. There's this brilliant little memory trick from the author's handwritten notes for this day: presence before progress. I love that. Day 2 is observe. You watch your energy, your emotions, and your habits objectively, completely without judging yourself. Just collect the data, Day 3 is inventory. You do an audit of what lights you up and, crucially, what drains you. And day 4 is eliminate. This is the fun part where you actively remove the distractions, the toxic habits, and those energy leaks that are keeping you stuck. And this brilliantly illustrates what phase 1 is all about. It all comes down to this really simple equation. Alignment equals focus minus noise. It's not about adding more things to your plate to achieve alignment. It's actually a process of subtraction. You find your true path by chiseling away the expectations of others, the mindless doom scrolling, the totally unnecessary commitments. Because when you eliminate the noise, your focus naturally sharpens. And alignment, well, that's what's left behind. Okay, moving on to phase 2, building momentum, the action steps.
Now, for these final 3 days, notice the clear shift toward forward motion. We've done all that quiet, introspective work, and now it's time to put the vehicle in drive. Day 5 is align, making sure your small, everyday choices actually match up with your core values. Day 6 is move. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it doesn't say succeed flawlessly. It just says move. Action beats overthinking every single time, and imperfect action is far, far better than perfect paralysis. You really just have to start before you're ready. And finally, day 7 is reflect. This is where you look back at the week to process your growth, basically turning your raw experience into lasting wisdom. The source material makes it so incredibly clear why alignment is just absolutely crucial. Think about it. When your life is misaligned, what does that actually feel like? Burnout, total confusion, deep, deep exhaustion. You feel this intense resistance to pretty much everything you do. But when your actions are actually aligned with your values, the result is clarity, natural energy, a profound sense of purpose, and real forward movement. This right here is the ultimate antidote to that modern burnout we talked about at the very beginning of this explainer. It's not about taking a 2-week vacation. It's about making sure your daily life matches who you actually are. And here is a major aha moment to keep in mind. Perfection delays movement. We get so completely caught up in making sure the step we're taking is the exact, correct, totally optimized, flawlessly executed step that we just end up standing completely still. Action doesn't have to be big. It definitely doesn't have to be Instagram worthy. It just has to be yours. A tiny, super imperfect step taken in the right direction is worth 100 perfect steps that just stay planned in your head. Now, this is perhaps one of the most profound takeaways from the author's notes: the momentum formula. Confidence equals promises kept to yourself. Think about how we build trust with other people, right? We do what we say we're going to do. Well, building self-confidence works exactly the same way. When you take those tiny, aligned actions and you actually follow through on the small commitments you make to yourself during these 7 days, you are actively repairing and building profound self-trust. And that, right there, is where real, unstoppable momentum actually comes from. Let's move to our final section: integrating your path, making change permanent.
Look, a 7-day sprint is a truly fantastic reset. But if you want to make this change permanent, integration really relies on these 4 pillars. First up, consistency over intensity. It's not about taking monumental leaps, it's about small steps taken consistently. Second, finding alignment in your everyday choices. You've got to let your newly clarified values dictate the boundaries you set and the things you decide to say yes to. Third, making awareness a lifestyle. Keep checking in with yourself so you can naturally course correct before you veer miles off the path. And finally, grace and growth. You have to give yourself credit for simply showing up, and you have to realize that you're gonna have hard days. Growth is never a straight line, right? Just keep showing up.
I absolutely love this central phrase. You're not starting over, you're moving forward differently. All your past experiences, yes, even the burnout in all those autopilot years, they've actually brought you to this exact moment of clarity. You don't have to completely erase your past to walk a new path. You are simply taking all of that hard-earned wisdom and moving forward with profound intention. As you'll see, the path truly does become clearer while you're walking it. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to kick off your own journey. Look back at everything we've covered today: the pausing, the auditing, the eliminating, the aligning, and the movement. You have the map now. The next step is entirely up to you. So tell me, what is one thing, just one single aligned thing, that you are ready to say yes to in the next 7 days? Seriously, don't overthink it. Just take the step and keep walking your path.